Got a camper in it? Looking for it?
It's 30 footer plus what's the nose. 2 ramp.
The time I had problems.
3 compartments. Whatever.
I had the pilot come. $9,000 for him.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
We had some other friends.
Yeah.
Living
Call this meeting to order with the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag and to the republic stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For the record, this is the Monday, November 20th meeting of the Starke County Council. We are present in quorum. First up, we have the Starke County Youth Club with the yearly report.
Usually you see me in April, not at this time of year, but I wanted to come and give you some news hot off the press. Wanted to introduce you to Mark, who's a member of our team at Club, Mark Council.
We know Mark in the park in the old days.
Yeah, I do know that, yeah. So for those of you who don't know us as well, I think most of you do know us pretty well. I wanted to let you know what Youth Club is and what we're currently doing and ask for a little bit of help. So Youth Club is a youth development agency supporting kids and families with after school, summer, spring break, enrichment, and morning care programs. So I think morning care is probably a thing we didn't really talk about the last time we were here, but I thought I would share with you. Our goal really is to help kids find personal and academic success. And we do that through all of those projects so that not only can kids be successful in school, but we want them to be successful in life. We want them to be good human beings. But there is an economic impact to the work that we do that I wanted to just talk briefly about because I think it's important for you to take note of. So we typically come and talk to you about why after school is important because it allows adult family members to focus on work, to not worry about where their kids are or whether their kids are safe. And that's really important. But the content that we provide in after school includes STEM, which is 21st century skills of like collaboration and communication and problem solving. Those are really good. But also social emotional learning skills, which really do impact things like responsibility, things like accountability for yourself so that you can be a good employee in the future. I want to talk about morning care though, and its economic impact. Right now, God bless our morning care folks because they start seeing kids at 5:45 in the morning. And these are all children who need to come and stay with us so their adult family members can go to work. It is this beautiful little gap service that we're able to provide for families before the school day starts when kids would otherwise be home alone because their parents need to get to work on time. So we know that that's having an economic impact for those families and for our community, right? Those businesses are able to have their employees on site when they need them, and parents don't worry about where their kids are. Our goals are for these kids to have this academic success, and it's really great for us to come and talk about it, but the results are here for you. We have independent evaluation every year, and that's hot off the press. Like, that is very recently published. And I will make sure I give you one of these sheets that talks about the fact that our kids earn a B or better or increase their grades from fall to spring. 75% in English and 80% in math. We're really good at teaching math. That our kids feel more confident, they have better self-esteem, and that they're learning to make healthier choices as a part of being in our programs. So those goals that we have, which are big and lofty, to help kids be good people, to help them do better in school, we can prove that we're having an impact on. What we want to ask you for is a little bit of help, because what we know is that we've been able to expand these programs and be sustainable to this point. And we know we're coming up against a little hurdle in about the next 6 to 9 months. So we were given a grant from the Department of Ed to move some of our staff from minimum wage to a living wage. And that grant ends next year. So it ends in July of 2024. And so we're gathering all of our partners and all of our friends who love kids and asking them if there's anything they can do to help the kids at club and to help us maintain the level of service that we've been providing and to hopefully expand it or continue
Oh,
expansion. What I meant.
very good.
Yeah.
How much is that?
How much are we losing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So next year fiscal for us is $90,000. Yep.
How many children would be in your program?
Yeah, 288 last year.
288,
And so this year we're already over that.
so 300 approx.
Yep.
So you said, though, that there was funding coming for that 90,000 shortfall, that there was other funding already. So what's the balance that they're lacking?
Yeah, so so that's next year fiscal, right? So
Well, you said so you're covered for this year.
I'm
assuming.
covered
Yeah.
this year,
So
right?
I'm talking about next year,
Yep.
yeah, so. what's
So
the short-
next year is gonna be, it's gonna be more than that because it's the grant doesn't fall on my fiscal year. Does that make sense?
All right, so what are you short next year minus, you said there were other funds coming in,
Yeah.
what's the
40.
40,000?
Yep. But I think I missed your question first, Dave.
Yeah, I deal more on net numbers than
Sure.
the gross amount, 40,000.
Do the parents pay any for morning?
Yeah, morning care for us is a fee for service program. And so we try to keep it affordable,
No, I
but it is a fee for service.
I asked that because my daughter's uses similar in
Mhm.
Rensselaer, and I know she has a morning fee.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
We do
that's
too.
what it is.
What's the program you have where it's $5 a day? Is
That's
that-
our morning care program.
That's it?
Yeah.
$5, okay.
Yeah, so like, for example, here at Knox, our kids come at 5:45 and they're with us until about 7:45.
But you need the 40,000 on top of that though, regardless of what you.
That's correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you want to you're currently bringing the employees to a livable wage, or you want to bring them to a livable wage?
We are currently paying them a livable wage. We
Okay.
want to be able to sustain that.
I understand.
It's interesting, we were talking with another group today, and for every dollar that's earned, $5 is how was that, Dave, that it actually goes
It's
around
turned over
five times?
yeah.
This program was started to kind of help the lower income families, but it's reached much farther than that. It's reaching into our middle income people, and we're probably in an area where we're deficit on childcare anyway,
Absolutely.
especially affordable childcare. But I was told about something about you're even helping with teaching them cooking and. No, no, I know that probably sounds, it sounds silly to some. But I'm a grandparent of a child that has autism.
Mhm.
And it's those skills that are taught there that'll go with them the rest of their life. And I just thought that was interesting.
But you're teaching the parents too, right?
True, you want me to talk about that
Yes,
part?
please.
We just concluded family cooking classes. So what that was, so in our after school programs, we teach kids to cook as part of like nutrition and life skills. But we thought it would be really good and it turned out to be good. We spent 4 weeks teaching kids and their adult family members, not just about kitchen safety or how to handle a knife or how to saute something, but also how to put together a meal and spend time together. We want this to be not just good for a kid, but also good for their family members. And we got a lot of good feedback that parents learn new things too. We always hope that some of that will flow to the family unit. Doesn't always, but in this case, the family cooking class was really useful to help not just the kid, but their grown up too.
I'm only one member of this council, but when I talked to Mary Lynn, I just thought, these are the things that I would like to see through the development of the county. Of course, Dave knows more about the money and things like that, but I, for one, am very supportive, and I hope that we can come up with a way that we can develop that.
I appreciate that so
Okay.
much. Do you have questions about the work we do or why or how we do it? I mean, we're here to answer.
Of course, I guess I'm a little more familiar because the schools have been more involved and my son's over at Oregon Days.
So the older kids, like the high school, do they tutor the younger ones then they come over?
Yeah, so we have actually, I would just share, most of our high school kids who participate with us actually become employees with us. They grow up in the program and want to come back and work with kids, which I think is really special and really beautiful. And beyond that, even a number of our adult staff, I'm aging myself now. A number of our adult staff had been in the program as kids, and now I'm old enough to see them be adults in the workforce coming back to work at club. So yeah, I think we're building also like a strong commitment to the community in that way.
So, basically though, you don't need to have this funded until July. Like, we've got a little time because I think we'd like to talk it over with the commissioners. I mean, I think this is the kind of thing we'd like to support. We've got different types of things that are going to be coming through. That'll maybe give you a little time too to have a harder number. Maybe you'll get other funding elsewhere, but I mean, it sounds like, to me, it sounds like something that personally I'd be interested in.
Awesome.
And it, like I said, it buys us a little bit of time. I think, if you don't reconvene us, I mean, I think if we could reconvene by March on it or something like that, just so we're in the game, but.
Sure.
Is this something that you could put together, or would you be interested in a couple of us forming a committee to take a formal look at this, Dave, or what are your thoughts?
Well, I like that idea too. Why don't you get on the next commissioner's agenda, just so, here, getting an annual update from you, just so we're all on the same page. I mean, there's some different funds that the council could, kind of pre-approve on, but since we got till July, we don't know what the final amount is, but yeah, I think that's a good idea. That way.
I love them.
And that'll give them time to see if there's some other sources
other
of
funds,
income
right, yeah.
and we
I mean,
can do a
That's what we're
cooperative.
really trying to do is dovetail as many friends and supporters.
Yeah.
So that we can continue the plan as it is.
Bruce, I would like to work with, I'm on the Starke County board, so I would be happy to work on that.
Well, one thing I was wondering, like, for instance, do you have a breakdown of like how many children would be from the city of Knox and how many would be in the county?
I can get you that.
Because I think that would be a good thing to talk to our mayor about is
Sure.
getting the city to go up with it. So
Mhm.
I would think.
Yeah, but.
I like that idea.
Yeah, I can pull those
Other
numbers
towns.
pretty easily.
You're gonna want this every, I mean, year after year.
I would love that.
And that's
Yeah,
what I
that'd
mean,
be
so if we
really
put
awesome.
another, you know, like the city and whoever else that can help with it, or other avenues you guys take, that would be our thing, instead of just saying here. there you go.
Something along last.
I feel like starting in 2025, we'll have a little bit more breathing space with extra funding, but, you know, right now, we fund Head Start, part of Head Start, which is kind of like the beginning stage, we fund skill. And I guess getting a little more involved in the middle part isn't bad, I mean, I already know that some of the taxpayers will ask, so. When you start getting too overlapping into the school side of things, they already pay a ton of money in taxes for school, so. That'll give us a chance too to also explain to constituents, why they're getting involved in it, it's really kind of a separate thing, but people get a little bit. A little bit petulant when they feel like we're, funding, school type things with,
That's good feedback
massive,
for me.
yeah.
to-
I have a
to
question.
understand.
Radio fund, is that annual or do you do that
We do a radiothon annual.
annual?
Yeah.
And did that increase, the funds increase this year from?
Yes, that's in there. Yeah. We had
So
a
good
party.
place to start, what we're doing right here.
If any of you would ever like to come and have a tour, please let us know. We will be glad to walk you through and.
Yeah.
Anyone.
Are you looking for somebody to cook a meal? I'm not.
It might.
We'll let our kids cook it for you.
I make a mean microwave popcorn.
You know, burn 'em.
Sometimes.
I like those half popped ones now.
That's in the bag.
You gotta be careful,
Thanks
you gotta
for
be careful
hearing.
as you get older, Mark, those can break your teeth. too.
Yeah, I'm not risking that.
Thank you for giving us an opportunity.
Yeah, thank you guys. So, if you don't hear from us, definitely, let's try to reconvene by March, but.
Okay.
I would suggest too, running this, talk to commissioners about it and,
Okay.
give them an update. I mean, obviously Don is here, but two of them are missing and,
Give me.
they, seem to have a little bit
Okay.
different audience during the day sometimes too, so.
Okay, I appreciate that so
Thank you
much.
guys very much.
Thank you.
Chair
Absolutely.
and Matron, sorry.
That's all right. I'm already coming with my mom.
Right.
Well, we are coming to kind of ask forgiveness and not necessarily permission, but we're not asking for money
Oh, no.
at all. So,
The whole time you're here tonight.
you will be back to back and I am not gonna ask you for a penny. How's that?
That's good. 'Cause
Um,
I'm not a good mood.
yeah, see, I'm hoping everybody behind me can be
Watch
thankful.
it, make sure.
Yeah. So, I had to spend some time with everybody. We have a tractor supply account. They use generally for the dog food for the canines. So everybody knows I started in June. Apparently there was a bill from March that had been used. The card, it can be used for, purchases around the jail. It had been used for like a battery for a tractor and, ultimately I never saw the invoice. I started in June. It never got paid.
Yeah, so basically you're asking for kind of a posthumous
Well,
approval. I'm just making sure that that's
yeah.
legal.
Well, so I can tell you, so it kind of, yeah, and Justin can tell you, I got the statute here. Basically, there's, rules of what you can spend on
You have to have the
commissary.
council if it's not.
Right,
commissary.
right. So I had to spend $89 on October 17th. And it wasn't even for the bill itself because I reached out to everybody when I knew we had the account. And I'm like, I'm not getting any invoices. So they were sending them, but they did not send me the March ones.
Yeah.
And what they did was they kept rolling over this $29 fee and $6 interest until we were at $89 and they shut the card off. We needed dog food.
Wow.
So I had paid everything but this $89. They did waive some of the late fees. They were really good about working with us, but I had to pay $89. So I am just asking for your forgiveness. Because it is an expense that anything that doesn't fall under the other rules says we have to ask for permission. So
So you
the
haven't
sheriff
paid it. You
authorized
haven't
it.
paid it.
It's paid.
You have paid it.
It's paid. We had to have dog food.
I'm not disagreeing
So,
with that. I just
yeah.
want to make sure we don't make a
Yeah.
mistake and get
Yeah.
caught in an audit.
So. I mean, that's
I'll make
ultimately,
a
it just,
motion. We approve the $89.
Yeah.
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 Is there any discussion?
I appreciate your forthcoming.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, aye. Is there any opposed?
Okay. That was easy.
Not
See?
trying to give you a hard time, Sheriff. Make sure.
Have you ever tried any of that Alpha in your chili?
Alfie in my chili. Somebody just had me try. You really do like the autopsy conversations, don't you? Come meet me in my office. We'll talk.
All right, yeah.
Somebody just convinced me to try peanut butter.
They got
and chili.
keto friendly.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
as you're passing out, I'm just trying to
Yeah.
keep things at a pace with the
Sorry,
list we
yeah.
got going here.
So here's,
So they already get paid, right?
yeah,
Like, why would we wanna do an on-call on top of them already getting paid?
so. Because they really don't get paid very well. So ultimately, we are already approved for the $15,000. That's already in our budget. I was just told I have to come back and ask for permission on how I want to spend it. We've averaged, and that's why I give you the breakdown there. We've averaged about 85 calls over the last 3 years. I don't want to pay them constantly to be on call. I would like to use the 10% raise that the county, everybody had and bump them to $105 a call. 10% raise would be $104.50, but I'd like to give them 105 per call. Our calls are all encompassing, so if you have a call right now and it's an hour long, and then you have a call that's 6 weeks long, like one we just did, it's the same money. You don't get paid every day that you're doing something on it. But I would also then like to take that money, and I just gave away my copy. But I'd like to give them just $2 an hour on Saturdays and Sundays. It's hard to give up your whole weekend and wait to get a call. A lot of the counties around us pay. Winnemac pays $15 an hour for on-call stipend. We don't have that. I'm not asking for that, but I would like to give them like $2 an hour just
You did
on
it.
Saturdays.
You
and
did it.
Sundays.
You did it.
I do what?
You did it without getting on call.
Oh, I know I did, but I think they deserve it. It's not an easy job. It's a lot of hours, and I mean, it is just to kind of sit around. We're not in a county where we can like go to Walmart and go and do a lot with, I mean, so it's nice I just think that it's just a nice perk to give them. Only for the weekends. It wouldn't be every weekend. I still take my on-call weekends. I wouldn't be getting the stipend, so that puts in for a little bit extra. Figured out that we would be 2 weeks. If every weekend was paid, we'd have about $1,000 left. Based on this average, but then that does not include the weekends that I'm on call and not getting paid or anything like that. So that's it. That's how I would like to spend our money.
And your deputies do a good job,
They do.
because I know at this day and age, I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard to get good employees. I
Yeah.
don't think anybody.
And that's honestly, I didn't want to use this as you should come work with us kind of thing, but I want to reward
You're
the
trying to
ones that
reward
do.
someone there. You got
This
good
is already
people
in your
on yours.
budget?
Yeah, we got approved for $15,000 for next year for the deputies.
You got to change this hours.
So are you not changing it? It start 1/1, so that's why it's coming before you, because I want you guys to approve it so that I can put it in the salary.
So, so how much additional expense will that be? By raising that?
So
She's already done.
yeah,
I
we've already got the 15,000. I'm not asking
I
for any
see that.
money. Yeah.
But if you raise the on-calls,
That's $1,275 based off of the 85 calls,
Right.
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
No, it's
No, it's
52
based
Saturdays,
Yeah.
52
Saturdays.
Well, no,
Sundays.
I was counting raising that too. I was just counting that.
Oh, the difference between paying,
Yeah,
the
no.
difference.
For being on call, not
Yeah.
waiting to get.
That's $5,000, right? Basically, minus whatever she does.
So your deputy coroners, when they get called out on the call, they make $105.
Right now.
Currently, they make 95.
Guys,
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you that I'm surprised she's even able to maintain deputies. Because it's not a half an hour or an hour, or it is a lot, it is 3 to 4 to 5 hours work, I would say an average per corner
You
school.
gonna make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to accept her.
You have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Any questions from the audience? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Is there any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you guys very much.
Is that it?
That's it.
Next time I'll ask for money.
That might be a different.
EMS transfer is something we already know about.
Yeah.
Or is it?
All right.
What does it look like? What do I like to see Jack come in?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I gotta be here, man. Good. We're doing it. Good. Yeah, no, Scott.
EMS one.
No, this was the last one.
Yeah, but I shuffled mine around.
That's what I always do. That's probably why it's the last one for mine.
Purdue.
It's in the pile underneath the, did find under the Purdue extension one.
Oh, here it is.
All right, thank you.
Everybody have a copy? Yeah. Basically, I'm here to transfer, ask for a budget transfer appropriation. I have the money in the budget. What I want is transfer to the radio and equipment fund, $12,500. Our software fund, $5,000, the maintenance and trending, $300. Building maintenance, $1,500. And ambulance equipment, $38,000.
What's the 38,000 for?
Comes for a portion of the chase vehicle that we're moving into the next direction.
That you already have it.
Yes. From that, I'd like to take $57,300 from the ship captain's account to move to cover all these costs.
What's trending? Maintenance and trending. What's trending? It's got a question.
That is part of the software.
Okay.
For the.
So the shift captains and that, how does that affect them?
We have a surplus right inside there. We only have 2 shift captains and one of them has been off since August 5th.
And it leaves you enough to get to the end of the year. I think we already looked at that.
Yeah, we have enough for well over the end of the year.
Still enough surplus.
Still enough surplus.
It's good to hear. We're not used to that.
No, I want to commend Jim
Yeah, you did a good job.
starting with a budget that was very challenging and doing a good job.
You've done quite
Very good job.
I haven't seen a public post about what we did, judgment from just somebody's account.
I did too.
I saw that good afternoon. I was like, wow, I appreciate it. Did you tell them that I kind of tell you?
I heard you say. See if you can get him to say something good about some of the council.
I heard a good word at the hospital.
It's certainly been a lot of talk.
I like positivity. Listen, we're not hearing enough for no raises or nothing. We're just hearing some good stuff. Let's.
Maybe not as much.
You need this in a motion?
Yes, please.
Need to read through the numbers and things?
You could just read through the name of the account and the amount.
You do it. You want me to?
Go ahead, Todd.
All right. I'll make a motion that we do a reduction in the ship captain's pay of 57,300. And we take that money for additional appropriation for radio equipment, 12,500, software, 5,000. Maintenance and trending, 300, building maintenance, 1,500. Ambulance equipment for $38,000 for a grand total of 57,300.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Very good.
Excellent.
Yeah,
I couldn't hear you.
did I hear a second? from Bruce?
I'll second. Sure.
From, or, I'm sorry, what was it, Tony?
Well, both of us, I.
Was it the same time? Is it all right?
We're holding hands. It's fine, it doesn't matter. We got our start.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Kay's overriding, you guys. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Is there any opposed? The next item is the park superintendent, guys. I can explain this a little bit. On the on this one with the blue on the top, this was the items that were towards the grant.
We have that.
So
We had to do that.
they don't have this.
No, they don't.
So I'll pass it down. I'm gonna suggest that come from the money we appropriated for the grant already and agreed upon from the Cisco money. But for the lift station, we've talked about this before, that the sewer system was down there. But I'm gonna recommend that, and since Don's here, I'm gonna recommend that come from Cume Cap.
Yep.
Just because it's a Cume Cap item, so, I would say just bring it to the next commissioners. This is the only copy too. Because
How much is that?
it's,
29,820. They just 29,000.
It's almost.
They don't have the appropriation in their budget for this year, and I can't do it in additional.
where, and when you say they,
Commissioners don't have $29,000 left in human cap.
they
Pay
don't?
that. No, they have like. They have 30 in there, but I'm taking 25 out to put toward the. Ambulance purchase that you guys approved a while ago, after that one.
Okay, then that should come from one. But I would say that we still bring it to the commissioners,
Oh, yeah,
For the
yeah,
people
it was our,
too, but-
I mean, I can take that from, my that's not good in the next year either, so it'd have to be, it's fine, like.
I mean, it could come from CETA, but I mean, the ARPA, I mean, CETA, but I mean, still, we have the ARPA money to spend down.
Yeah, but that's not a bottomless pit.
No, but I mean, it's something that has to be appropriated there by the end of 25.
Right, they're probably all be gone before 24.
but-
Yeah. I mean, you've got a lot in seeded also.
There's a
Yeah,
lot
I
more
feel good
coming
about
up.
seeded.
Listen, see.
Whichever.
You can probably pay it
Where's
the
the ARPA
easiest.
fund? Right here.
Okay.
That would be,
This whole thing, yeah. Yeah, because there's what.
You know what? I'm gonna make a motion on the lift station on the conditional for the commissioners, obviously, but that this should come from seeded.
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion on that? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Is there any opposed? And then the one that I just passed around, since we appropriated that money for the grant
need that back.
from that, and Rachel will need that back. I'm gonna make the motion that comes from the money that we approved already, for the grant
And
From
and that's coming from,
from the Cisco money.
okay, so you have $500,000 in Cisco, where's the $75,000 coming from?
Well, the 75, the additional, the 575 total was coming from the 675.
No, we paid Hamlet 175.
Okay, well, we'll have to negotiate that with the commissioners then, but,
Is there a second on that?
Your chance. No, sir. Oh.
yeah, somebody did second it.
Are you gonna second it? Looks like Tony, I let Lois, I think Tony's gonna second.
Kay's got it.
Oh, did you see snooze?
Second from Kay, all those in favor, aye.
Rachel,
It's
Aye.
gonna,
you gotta go to Board of Commissioners December
Is there any opposed?
4th.
Not tonight.
So
I'm for
we'll
it.
talk before then. Okay. But you will officially have a much higher cash balance when I move those claims.
right,
Whoever has it, we just leave it at the end and I need it.
And then are you representing Julia?
Nope, she's here.
Oh, there she is. I couldn't see her. Sorry.
I mean, I can if you want me.
No, I just-
but-
She was perfectly behind Tracy.
Yeah. Very
Looks like-
small
Looks
change.
like you're just cleaning up transfers for the end of the year. Does somebody want to make a motion on those?
I will. I move that we transfer $1,000 from longevity into travel expense. You want the other transfer also
Yes, please.
from postage, $9 and computer contract, $580. To office supplies of $589.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Julian. Enjoyed your annual meeting.
Oh,
Donnie and I were there. It was a fun meeting.
Thanks, Julia, for that 30 seconds.
Clerk Manuel,
Oh, this one's gonna be.
before we dig into the depths of the remodeling, one of the. All right, we'll do the transfers. All right.
See her.
Yay.
If they're not here, okay.
Bring it on.
I bring one out. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Did you ask me about the-
You're welcome.
So you put 800 back in part-time?
Yes.
Because it doesn't say that on here. It doesn't say.
Oh, yeah, $800 back in. So what I'm asking for is, the money coming from, official records of $800 in there. And I want to put that in the part-time because my part-time people are, working on official records. They're working on, indexing, marriage records right now. And scanning in and indexing the RJOs.
Make a motion on that. That one.
The transfer, the $800 one.
Okay. I'll make a motion to transfer from official records $800 for part-time. $800.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second from Tony, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Is there any opposed? Now, this is what I was asking about, so thank you for bringing it. So
Yes,
the
that's
cost
it.
of the election was 16,948.30.
About. There's
How do we bill them
something
for that? I don't remember.
on this sheet right there, what you have in front of you. Rachel will take and verify that my numbers are correct.
Okay.
When it's finished, and she will sign, I sign off of it, she signs off of it, and this is the bill that the city will get.
Cool.
So,
Shouldn't be a big surprise. I mean, they're working with us on city court, so I don't want to start any wars with them or anything, but they should be expecting this.
well, it's a little more than what we thought, but I didn't bill anything for the primary because we did not have a primary. So even though I incurred expenses, I didn't bill for any of those. So this should be, you know, this is true numbers and I could actually add probably $4,000 more to this if I was pitching pennies. But I don't want to get carried away because, you know, even this bill is a sizable amount for,
What has
700.
it been in the past?
it's never been done in the past, remember?
We just started this, remember?
Didn't we send them one?
I thought we sent them one in the last one.
Well, yes, and you forgive them, you forgave that bill because nobody was billing prior to me. But they said they didn't have it in their budget.
Right.
Right. So theoretically, they have it in their budget now, correct?
Well, they're coming up with it, yes.
Okay, good. All right. Thank you. Thank you for letting us know that. I was very curious about that.
Yes, I will have that. It might change a little bit, but it's probably will not go down any. It will stay right where it's at or even up a little bit more.
Excellent. So I looked at your two. Are we ready to talk about
Oh,
the remodel?
Yes, yeah.
So, I guess I feel like I'm a little bit lost here. I'm not complaining. But I'm glad Don's here too, because I guess I thought we were like doing the air conditioning and doing light remodeling. I didn't know we were replacing furniture. Like, I didn't know we were getting that expansive.
Okay, well, if you. you
I've been
guys
up
have-
there. I've just.
You guys have all matching tables in here and all matching chairs, right?
Yeah, this is not a
Okay.
historic room, though. I just want to make sure that we don't get rid of like historic looking, like when I see.
Well, I think,
Furniture bill.
I don't think going from sponge paint to regular.
No, I'm
paint
talking about,
will-
I'm talking about the 16,000 in furniture,
Well,
12,000 in furniture.
it's for have you seen my table in my conference
I
room?
came and looked at it all the other day, but that's just for a conference room table.
Well, it's included in that money,
Okay.
in right here.
That's for all.
There's a table in my office, a table for the conference room, chairs for the conference room, chairs for all my girls, desk for seven desks.
Maybe it doesn't look so bad when it's all.
Last time you bought a conference table there.
I hate furniture, but oh, trust me, when we bought these
Look.
chairs, you should have heard me complain.
Yeah, it's stupid how expensive office furniture is.
They deliver it and setting it up, so you don't have your maintenance men wasting time putting desks together. They're coming to place it exactly where I want it, how we want it. The desks are for
All right, you
They
don't have
can-
to explain anymore. I'm just being. frugal, you know what I mean?
left hand, right hand people.
The other thing is, I was really glad to see that we had two Starke County, well, just
One and a
over
half.
Starke County,
Yeah.
1.5, yeah, but I know the other one too pretty well. I was surprised it was such a spread in the amount. I hope we're getting the exact same thing, but I guess the other thing too is I guess I didn't realize we were remodeling the bathrooms and. You know, looking at all that.
Somebody's gonna go in there and call through the floor.
Yeah, I was
The
told
floor-
to do all second floor besides childcare.
Child-
So the bathrooms haven't been done, part of
My question is just gonna be is what is left after this we're gonna spend on that? We spent a ton of money on the courthouse and. Like I said, I knew we needed the air conditioning. I guess on the furniture, just as long as we don't take the antique wood stuff out.
Really shouldn't be.
And that-
We're not changing trim or nothing, but
No.
they might paint some trim, but we're not doing, not changing those.
That was,
Ceiling fans.
made a historical building back in the nineties.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we
Yeah,
don't
and
detract from that.
we
you
need to
know.
be very careful.
I was pretty close with Mr. Schilling, still close with Melba too, and just,
I was
you
one of the
know, like,
commissioners.
just
when
a
we
strong.
done
Have a strong passion about our courthouse, so I just wanted to ask that. But what I will say is if you, when you look at those two quotes, one of them is half of the other one. I could,
Yeah.
shocking, like I did. I'm really surprised. I hope we're still gonna, you know, but I saw some of the work that the other guys that were half the price, building houses and everything too, their work looks good, so.
Right here's the paper that, you got one of those that
Yeah.
each of them got this piece of paper. And this is what they went off of to build it.
What did the
This is
commissioner
what they
decide
had.
they were-
See, it scares me is you talk about the floor falling in. There's
bathroom.
nothing in here about anything structural. Fixing
Well,
anything structural.
The bathroom, if you look at, come to my bathroom, it's a raised floor, you gotta step up.
I'm just worried about there being a surprise here.
Well, yes, that's the only thing that scares me, is I hope we're getting apples to apples, that's all.
I mean,
I was in your guys' meeting today too, I know you guys
Yeah.
brought that up today too,
Yeah.
but. You were wanting to take the remodel from Seeded and the furniture from ARPA. Which ARPA?
I think it's come from Seeded.
Yeah, we can do that too.
There's enough in Seeded.
I'm billing more than what my furniture is, so you're gonna get that back.
We don't have to keep saving in ARPA. Well, actually, that, you know what, if we do that too, though, that might be easier for them than to decide whether, or us together, just with the other thing for the beach, if we want to do ARPA or seed it, but yeah, I think collectively seed it would be a good. Are you making a motion on
I'm
that?
not making a motion, I'm just making. a
Okay,
And there's not gonna be no walls moved or nothing, like you say, you gotta fix the house. Courthouse.
And they're leaving all the same trim, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be drop ceiling.
There's already drop ceiling in there now.
Drop ceiling LEDs.
What about covering up the historic ceiling?
What's the?
I don't know.
it's already got a drop ceiling now.
That's why I just asked, it said.
There's pipes, you can, there's piping in there.
You're still gonna see some pipes, it's just like a child care and third floor, the new drop ceiling and first floor.
Are
First
they
and
putting
third,
like the ones that look like stamped metal in them, or are they gonna look like
and
this?
they're all fire rated, yes.
Well, I mean, you can't beat gotta give the
I
commissioner
mean,
credit
this
for
is-
getting two
Yeah,
quotes
this
and
is
one
a
tap.
lot more than the option that came for us before, and then what, $700,000 will look at it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Right?
the guy's commission was $175.
That's why I'm just saying, it was, the whole thing just to look at.
$69,000 was his fee.
Yeah, it was, and I mean. Chad is good, I mean,
So are you gonna make them?
I have a lot of faith in them. But I don't like spending money.
Well, have you been up to your clerk's office? Do you want to continue to look like that, or would you like it to
Well, I was
look
up-
more
I was
professional?
up there last
I'll make
year.
a motion that we take the $169,000 and the $12,000 both from seated.
I'll second that.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Is there any opposed?
There you have it.
Yes, I am. Thank you, guys. It's much needed.
Yeah, are you happy?
Well, no.
I got-
Keep going.
Remember, you gotta.
Remember, the ghost of Jim Schilling is watching.
Yeah.
Whatever day,
Yeah.
can't work in there. Yeah, whatever day you don't.
Jim will be okay with whatever.
Before we go on, Rachel, what were we gonna do about, putting dye in the pipes? Is Jack still talking about doing that for us?
We haven't had an issue since.
It's worked pretty good now, isn't it?
I got some ideas.
Flawless.
We need to do it.
Do you?
Do it.
It's
Why don't
flawless.
you and I do
I
it?
got nine. Yeah,
It's flawless. We have not had
Okay.
an issue since May.
Good, okay.
Yeah.
we can go out there.
All right,
Do
yeah,
it.
so you're gonna come back to commissioners then on that other part?
Spend a lot of money.
I mean, we're already pre-approved it, so I mean, just, you know. Just so there.
That's what I was wondering, what's my next step? I need to-
Yeah, just get with Rachel and then the
I
next
people my stuff.
commissioner meeting is September 4th.
I turned to be like.
One that you can't pay, you don't have enough somewhere else to pay it?
I need to pay Steve for the papers. Like $6,400 and waited like a month and a half. And I was waiting, this
So
was
like,
tabled,
this money
this
to
was
cover
tabled
this.
at the last meeting,
You can wait till January.
so I just want, that's the only thing I need to pay until the end of the year.
Yeah, all the other stuff.
It's
You got our approval, this, I, like I said, just, you know, Don's here and
Alright, well, you can move forward with it if you want to, like, tell her to, if there's a need to.
I just don't have anything in my budget right now to pay that amount, that's the only thing I need.
Appropriation.
Oh, yeah, right.
Pay that, but yeah, both of you have to.
we both have to approve it, yeah, because it's, there's no appropriation in there for that item, is the problem. There's just no procedure for it. But we've already pre-approved it, so.
You're the one that's first.
Yeah, just a housekeeping item, the minutes from October 16th, 2023.
It doesn't matter.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion. We go.
Have a motion from Todd, is there a second? A second from Kay, is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Is there any opposed? Oh, did Cassie get online?
I will text Steve and tell him that it's coming.
There you go. Tell him to hold his horses. Do you hear that, Tracy?
I'll
Todd's gonna take care of Steve
I'll
for
take
you.
care of Steve.
Talked to him Saturday night and promised
Okay.
him kind
He'll
of.
be different here.
So first we're gonna do additional appropriation.
In other words, you did what you had to get him.
Let's let Todd do it since he's the
What?
highway department guy.
This is not highway, this is additional appropriations for every other fund but highway. That you guys have done throughout the year that I talked to you about.
Oh, right,
at the last
yeah.
meeting.
Yeah.
You have already.
If you're looking at Kay, why don't you have Kay do it?
Oh, no, I don't,
I don't want to do it.
I'll do it too. I don't care. Whoever wants to do it. I don't care.
You can do it all in this new. All I need is. This one is last amount. And this one is-
So did you?
You guys have already.
Yeah, more.
That's throughout the
Got
year.
one Wednesday.
Well, yeah, because.
So I did just a few. Okay.
Yeah.
I make all these on motion.
But I do need the phone number with.
Okay, all right.
I'm on the side.
All right. You guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah, you're gonna make a motion for the additional appropriation resolution ordinance. The first one is 1135 Coombe Bridge for a total of $35,000 and no change. The second one, there's only one page. Yeah. The second one is 1114 jail seated, 459,000 and no change. The third one is 1112 seated, $200,000. And the next one is 1138 Coombe Cap, $25,000. Am I doing?
Great.
Right. And the next one is 8950 ARPA for a grand total of $310,000. The next one is 1112 seated, $25,000. And the next one is 1237 opioid.
Opioid.
59,500.
Say that real fast.
I couldn't. And the last one is 4112 Cisco, $175,000. That's all.
We're sent to Hamlet, right?
Yes, that was for him.
I'll second.
Have a motion, a second, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
So I
Okay.
need all of you to sign each one of these, just be aware of where you're signing, it's one's name, one's I, so make sure you sign on the I. You need to sign them too. All of
The
it.
I first. then the next one.
Because it's a state form. I need to.
Todd, I'd have never seconded it if I thought we'd have that much work to do in the phone.
No, right?
I'm gonna give you, what we have started for the salary ordinance for 2024. I just wanted you to review it, before your next meeting, because we'll be getting approval at the next meeting.
Our board appointments are there, guys. The only one I think we need to make sure is, hopefully she's still gonna do it, but Michelle Downs just started. But, yeah, that's annual, that's not every 2 years.
That's a fun board.
Suitable.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to find anybody that
That was
qualifies
like
for
2
it.
years.
I know Michelle, I just can't figure that out anymore, but if somebody else sees it.
They only have 2, 3, they have like 2, 3 meetings. We only had 2, 3 meetings a year.
And then as it, right?
Sure.
You want me to
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
over everybody signing?
Yes.
Okay.
please. That's the I. I didn't think we were talking about bridge inventory too.
It's not, oh. Okay, so the NOFA grant is available. It's notice of funding of availability. It's a federal bridge program. It's a federal grant, which is a 80-20. On the second page of that packet I just gave you, the $206,400 for utility relocations. We probably won't need those, but it's built into that in case we do need them. The $309,600 for bridge construction inspection is needed. With federal funding, you are not required to use. With federal funding, you are required to use a consultant for the bridge construction inspections. We can't do that on our own. This is the wood bridge on 600 North over the Robbins Ditch. The prices are inflated for 2029. There's a contingency plan in place. We would know the first week of February if this is approved, and Bridge 13 is one of our deficient bridges.
That bridge has only been there for 20 some years. 26 years.
It's a wood bridge that's kind of broke down.
Is that 700 east?
That's the
It's,
bridge that you guys.
I
didn't
thought 700
appropriate.
was our only timber bridge that was.
We have four left.
There's one,
That's deficient.
there was 2 of them put in the same year. There was that one over the main, and there was one over the bogus.
Oh, but that's because they didn't put the wings in right on that one.
Well, that was appropriate before I became highway super,
yeah.
before you came commissioner.
remember that.
Those were done in
Well, no, it
90.
was after I was commissioner, but before
Yeah,
you were my.
yeah. So it's
So
98.
what do you want from us, madam?
So the letting for the bridge is not because the federal grant takes forever to go through this process. The letting for the bridge will not till 2029. I don't know where I'm gonna be in 2029. I don't know where you guys are gonna be in 2029, so I would like $474,720 appropriated out of seeded roads and bridges for 2029.
I was planning on cutting that.
Because actually the
And I'm
the
asking-
inspection part will have to go out for an RFP.
Yes,
It's not gonna be given
yes.
to
that's
these
correct.
guys.
I am being serious about that, Joe. My plan was.
I know that's your plan. That's why I'm asking for approval for 2020.
I wanna cut by 250, you wanna raise me by
I
475.
don't want to raise you. I only want to make sure that if you are gonna cut back the $750,000 and see that road.
That we only cut it back to 475.
Yes.
Okay, that's reasonable. When do we have to do it, Mike?
I want you to approve it right now.
Right now?
Yeah, right now.
When does it have to be approved by?
I mean, like this fast, like. Get over this.
Well, I guess 750 for 475 is a fair trade.
Bridge 13 is already deficient, like it's
Is that the
already
one that
on
has
the
the
back
crack on it?
list. And this is not even gonna be done until 2029. Exactly.
So do you mean we appropriate the money now?
So, no, well, I'm just asking that you, for 2029, you approve 474,720 right now, because I don't know if you're gonna be here in 2029, and I don't know if I'm gonna be here in
We're
2029.
gonna be here in December of 2023.
I'm sorry, is there a problem with not approving it right now?
Yeah.
Like, do you wanna drag out
getting
your
cold
December
feet.
meeting?
I'm getting cold feet for it. You're dragging out my November meeting.
Oh, we got a lot more to go through.
So how do we?
How do we know it's gonna be that price in 2029? That's a long time. Is it guaranteed?
Prices are inflated for 2029.
Okay,
There
okay.
is a contingency.
You said that, okay.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Maybe it'll go down.
They're not
It
inflated
might.
that, they're not inflated that much.
I hope it does. The one over 600 east went up like 3 times.
They're not inflated that
Or
much,
700 east, or 600 east.
from what I see.
Are you making a motion?
That's really not, that one.
Is there any reason why we shouldn't do it tonight? Dave?
I just think it's a little premature, but
It is
Pardon?
not premature because this has to go in. So this has to be in by December 1st.
if you're telling me you're not gonna ask for more than 475, and we're gonna go from 750
Nope,
to
not gonna guarantee
475,
that either.
well, see, that's the thing. I
You
knew,
appropriate $750,000 every year in
I
road.
know,
and
but I've
bridges
been
and
wanting to
seeded.
take 250
I know
from
you
it.
wanted the 250 from us. So how about me and you have a discussion in 2028 when we do our budgets? for
Might not even be
2029?
alive in 2028.
Exactly. So I'm free.
Actually, what?
Just kidding, Dave.
I know you're not, but that's okay.
I mean, things with the highway department are gonna have to get real.
Yeah, we're
They're
gonna
have to
move
get
on to
real,
that
really,
next.
real. Because I am so disappointed what happened with that highway that I can't even, I don't even. wanna talk
Before we
about it.
get to that, let's finish this then. So that, is any of that out of turn though with the current bridge inventory and the list, the schedule that we have for bridges?
Yeah.
Are any of these accelerated or are they in the same slots they've always been in? Cause I feel like 2 of those moved,
Two of
of the
the,
bridges that you just mentioned, right? I feel like they've moved.
I've only mentioned Bridge 13.
Oh, you mentioned Bridge 9.
No.
So this is just Bridge 13,
This is just
Wait a minute.
Bridge 13.
and this is gonna be a stress core product next time, or what it's gonna be?
Wait, is this over the Robins or over the James?
This is over the Robins.
Okay, that's different then.
Oh, now,
Why can't that just be a stress core?
Well, it depends on the design and how the hydraulics and how the soil. I mean, stress core is still gonna have to have indents and piling and the whole bit. It has to have something to sit on. I mean,
Still cheaper though.
well, the only problem,
The tractor.
that bridge over Yellow River, okay, that was a stress core in a sense. They're all pulled together. And I was in charge of that, put a deck on it with concrete. The thing about using just a box beam, I don't know what they designed here, but if you just use a stress core box beam, then you pave over with asphalt, okay? So then what happens is all the water gets trapped in there and destroys the bridge. But this here, see what they're recommending here.
Why are you gonna come out with guns blazing?
it has to be done.
Yeah, this bridge here is not a stress core, this is either it's slab top, it looks like, which is all concrete. I mean,
So this bridge is on our deficiency list, so it
Yeah,
has to
it
be
has-
inspected every
it
year.
has been
Yes.
for quite a while.
Yeah.
What's its rating now?
4.
That is main
Yeah,
artery
that's-
for our
Yeah.
grain.
And it's
coming
one
in.
of the ratings or one.
Starke County Co-op.
Yeah.
1 to 10 or 1, no, 2 to 9.
I don't know, something like
Yeah.
2 to 9,
But basically, it's almost at the point where it's gonna be shut down, because I think rating of 3 is when it gets shut down.
When does it get shut down?
A rating of 3.
You'll never make it.
All right, you're gonna make a movie
What am I making the motion for?
to appropriate 475 for
What we
2029.
What we taking,
It'll be road. and
It's
bridges.
basically. so
I know.
It's what we do already. but-
I know.
But it's from the seed of money that goes.
Yeah,
in
Yeah.
for roads and bridges.
Okay,
But she's saying that even if I'm not alive by then, whoever's sitting in this seat, that she's gonna drop from 750 to 500.
Yeah.
475.
so. Okay, I will make the motion because this bridge is very important to the economic
is.
development in this county and yes. I will make the motion that we approve 605,000 out of seeded for. Starke Bridge 13.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I will second that.
Have a second from Mr. Bennett. All those, I'm gonna say aye.
Aye.
Is there any opposed?
Right here, it's on this slide. Yeah. Like there's no. I think it works.
I'm gonna be, I don't know how our farmers know if they've got a bridge would get their grain to go out.
Okay, so you should have in front of you. This little spreadsheet. That says highway overdue bills. I put all the overdue bills together. I have them all right here. I just didn't make copies, so if you wanna go through them, they are available for you. This is the amount of overdue bills. And the auditor's office has started receiving collection calls last Thursday on some of them. You also have transfers in front of you, so I have overdue bills, and the transfers have nothing to do with the overdue bills.
How long?
Transfers-
Sorry,
No, go ahead.
how long are these? I know they're not all overdue at one time. Are these all bills that are overdue for 23 for
Yes.
this year?
Yes,
These are all bills that has not been paid. They have not obviously been submitted to the commissioners for approval, no. Right,
that's correct. Cause there is no money. At all. Whatsoever.
so these bills were made. There was no paperwork. I've lost my train of thought.
No appropriations
No
for-
appropriations for these bills. These bills were just made without basically no government approval and no government knowledge.
Perfect.
Right? I'm just I want them transparent.
Yes. Yeah. I don't see, so in the auditor's office, I don't see when departments make purchases, they don't come to me and be like, hey, Rachel, can we purchase this? I see after the fact. I see after the purchase when they're turning in the claims for the commissioners to approve.
So these bills never got
And
turned in.
there's been
so
no
they would
claims
have
made to the
received.
commission.
That is
But-
correct.
But from what I'm being told is that the two office managers were telling the
Yes.
superintendent that he didn't have the money to do it.
That is,
So
yes.
one of the things I talked to Rachel about is, for example, when we get audited, one of the things we have to do based on an audit is have corrective action in place. Like, we can't let this happen again. We've got a commissioner that oversees that department. Two office managers, an auditor's department. I mean, so I think the other thing too, aside from this, is that with funds this big, and the matron isn't here, but I mean, I think in those cases too, like, we need to talk to the people that are not just the supervisor, nothing against the sheriff either. I mean, the sheriff's doing a great job, but I'm just saying the people that are in that pivotal supervisory role, they need to be double checked, you know, and so in the future, we need to tell these people that are in the office, if this not even so much gets out of hand, like, well, there needs to be a threshold, like, this is $600 some thousand. It needs to be like $50,000, and they're reporting to the commissioners and saying, hey, you
But
know, like, and that they're not gonna have any retribution against them.
It should be $0.
Well, I mean, we should have a
Yeah.
superintendent in there.
You should.
I
be
mean,
able
now,
to.
I feel like now with the leadership that we have in place, things are gonna get straightened out, but it doesn't mean that into perpetuity. I think I just wanna be, as a team, we need to come to some realization too, though, that we need to have checks and balances. And we need to catch things like this. Like the
Absolutely.
fact that this-
Our
the fact that it
commissioner
wasn't
that's,
thought-
our commissioner that's in charge of the Starke County Highway Garage should be sitting right there tonight answering questions.
That is who he would answer to. I feel the same way, Howard.
He should
I
be
think
sitting
this
right
answer-
there answering questions.
Yes.
I'm
I feel
putting that
they
in
should be
public.
overseeing it. That's what their job is.
I mean, what's the state board of accounts gonna say about this?
It's gotta be reported. Won't be the first report I've had to make.
I know.
It's
Are
just a
the-
matter of them getting on it.
Are these budgeted items that were in the budget, or are these things just that were not even budgeted in parts of his budget that?
It was
he-
both, right? It was
that he
both
just-
appropriations.
So if there,
Spending.
I mean, all this stuff could be paid out of an appropriation if there was an appropriation left.
So there was no money to do it.
So there was no appropriated money for the
Correct.
400 and
So there was
for
no,
the 427,493.06. There was nothing appropriated.
1176 has no appropriations left and they have no cash left. So
The shocking thing is the 264,000 to central paving, like, I could see 395311 to Smith, it's like, I could see a few things and have to get, you know,
Yeah.
come calling the commissioners and saying, hey, you know, can you fund this with the council or whoever? But like,
$250,000.
I know.
It's
$250,000
out of you overspent the $750,000 appropriation that he's given every year at seeded roads and bridges. So that for central paving, that's why, because that line was over.
I hate to say this, but I don't think it's our problem. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is utterly embarrassing. This is beyond even belief.
Well,
It's
this
not
is
your
like the
problem,
third
it is your
time.
problem.
I know it is, but
It's not our
it
problem.
shouldn't be our problem.
But take 300,000 out of his own bituminous account. He needs to be held accountable, but we can't let the person
I
taking
mean-
over just go out here and not have nothing, not be able to get highways done and snowplow done.
And the
We have to
problem
take
is,
care of it.
there's a lot more to what happened on the highway than just this. And if
Yeah.
it wouldn't be people blowing the whistle about the other stuff that happened.
Well,
Looks like Rachel and myself thought 160,000, you guys didn't even get to see, because we got it.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. Between all the misuse of money, selling county items that should not be sold to the public. This is all needs to be brought out. This needs to all be brought out in the open because this is ridiculous.
Quieting a whistleblower, threatening.
Threatening a
There's
whistleblower.
just a lot of.
Counselor,
Nowhere.
I've had it.
it's
I mean,
going
I've
down.
really had it.
I got a question for Justin. I'm not suggesting as a council we do this because we're dealing, obviously, there's some reputable fine companies here that we owe money to, or the highway department owes money to. This is not a suggestion. I'm just asking, I'm trying to put everything, be as transparent out there as we can. Obviously, if we didn't pay these bills, these companies are not going to do any more business with us. But if we didn't pay these bills, where does the county stand? These bills weren't, they were accrued.
They were never appropriated.
They were never appropriated. I'm gonna use, you're the attorney, not me. I'm thinking they were accrued illegally. Maybe that's too harsh of a term. If we didn't pay the bills, then are we subject to county lawsuits and the recovery of their money and?
Well, it'll hurt our rating.
Obviously, I'm not
Unfortunately, he's not an
suggesting we
elected official, so he doesn't fall under the malfeasance misfeasance.
I'm not suggesting we
Yeah.
do it. I'm just
Right.
trying to put all of our options on the table.
Yeah, you to answer your question, Howard, absolutely. There's a term for accrued bills called apparent authority when you're talking about an agency relationship without getting real deep into the weeds. And your highway superintendent has what we would call apparent authority. So your contractors who contract with the county are going to assume that, he has the apparent authority to contract with us, and there's a good faith basis for that apparent authority because he's a highway superintendent. So yes, we would be liable. We could even be liable potentially for bad faith damages too if we don't pay it, which could be up to triple your, cost based on, the law. So yes.
I thought you'd say
That's what
that.
I was afraid of.
I thought you'd say that.
I know.
Well, and
It's not his fault.
Everybody's just upset because it's coming
Yeah.
right out of there. Other stuff we got going on. It's
Yeah.
just ridiculous.
I mean, it's just one thing after another.
Just for the record, though, the commissioners did relieve him of his duties. though.
Well, but there's my thoughts.
Just so that's in our public meeting too.
He resigned,
You know.
yes.
He resigned.
So I understand that we need to clean the slate here, but what recourse do we have with this past employee? Do we have any, or would the State Board of Accounts have something in lieu of criminal negligence or whatever?
So every time there is misappropriation of funds, expenditure of funds without approval, I've got to make a report to the State Board of Accounts. I will say without going into the details, it's not the first report that I've made, even in the last 12 months. It's up to the State Board of Accounts, so I've still not heard anything from to follow up with an investigation if it's something that could potentially be. I'm just answer the question. I'm not suggesting it's something criminal. I'm not suggesting it's something criminal, but if it's potentially something criminal, then that'd be up to the appropriate law enforcement agency to take those steps to pursue it. I don't want to speak for the prosecutor, could fall in the prosecutor's lap, could fall in the attorney general's lap, just depends on how they view that. But it all starts in my brain with the State Board of Accounts. What I do whenever I make a report, and again, this will not be my first one, even be my second report, is there's a link on the State Board of Accounts website that I've spoken with their legal counsel directly with cases like this. I make the report, I attach the evidence, and Rachel's been great in the last week. She's sent me a lot of that stuff so I can, aggregate it and send it down, and then they take it from there. But the State Board of Accounts, at least from my standpoint, is the direct line. And if we don't report it, I'm talking really extreme. You could lose state funding, you could lose potentially federal funding. So that's why And my license is jeopardized too. If I know of something fraudulent that happens now, I'll report it. So that's why we do it as quick as we can.
Well, I think that this needs to be cleaned up. But after we clean these accounts up, or if we decide to clean these accounts up, then any criminal negligence, if there was, would not be on the council or the commissioners.
No, we don't have that authority. We would cooperate with any investigatory or responsible agency for investigating that, but we can't pursue it.
No, I mean, they can't come back upon us. It would be on our employee, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't see any criminal liability attaching to the governing board. If the governing board never made the approval to begin with. Civil liability, perhaps, state board of accounts may take that standpoint. I don't know. They may say it's negligence on your part and fine us, cite us, you know. I don't know the answer to that, but.
Was there any, I'm sorry.
No, I just.
No, I agree, Bruce.
Well,
But you have the.
in transparent, but when this past, when Dan was questioned about this bill, what did he say?
This is discovered when I started up there.
Yeah.
So.
That's exactly.
Okay.
No, that was the other ones.
But his defense for himself though overall was that he was never trained on how to be a superintendent. Right? I mean, he did say that. Right?
Well, I was never trained when I was out there too, and I never spent my budget over one penny.
Well, the fact that he applied for the job said that he thought he could do it. I mean, you know.
That's the way I understand it.
That's the lamest.
But,
excuse
you know,
ever.
back to the original thing is the difficulty is that he had 2 office staff that were telling him he didn't have the funds.
One office staff left because he wouldn't listen about the budget.
So, but I mean, we need to put an instrument in place that for people that aren't elected, well, even elected officials, but especially in this case, the highway, really the highway, sheriff's department, EMS.
Well, we already got the $10,000 in for the highway. We already made that motion last meeting. That they cannot spend over $10,000 without commission, without council approval, other than payroll. We already put that in last
Yeah, we
meeting.
did last.
There's no money.
I know.
So
Your
if we do clean this $400,000 mess up, where do you suggest the money comes from?
Commissioners approved it from ARPA this morning.
Okay,
And that's from the
lost revenue.
infrastructure.
Or which one?
It's from the infrastructure and engineering. Is there enough in that? Oh, lost revenue.
That's half of it.
That's where we've been taking everything from lost revenue so far. We don't have a choice.
I would have rather seen it come out of seated and just reduce the amount of seated money going to the highway for the next 2
Well, Howard does have a good point, though. We have to make sure that. When they
I
select
see where you're going with that, but the problem with that is even for the next 2 years, they've already applied for CDBG stuff, so money's already been allocated for projects in 2025, 2026 out of CDBG.
So that could be.
Well, that just about wipes out that part.
Wipes out half of it.
So your ARPA balance right now is about $3.9 million, but you can always move, like if you don't think you're gonna use $1 million in infrastructure, you can move it over to loss revenue.
we can
whatever,
move,
yeah.
even where we appropriated it before, we could
Yeah.
change those.
We can
that.
move between any fund.
Is that right? More or less White County told them that, just make sure the council had to bail them out.
Yeah, I'm talking to you not know this facts, like.
How excited to be.
You want to make some motion on this?
Are we gonna pay?
No, Todd doesn't want to do it.
I'm not doing it because, I'm not doing
Yeah.
it because.
So this is for the bills listed. Is there anything been said about the plug mail and everything?
I,
I'm just asking, I mean,
Let's understand.
don't be afraid because.
Let's dig it out. Let's dig it out for right now. Let's not.
so, I mean, other than this, if you guys just, let's put it all out there, the salt shed's about to fall down, I have a loader down, that's gonna cost $10,000 to fix. There's no camera system out there, and I only have 2
transmission in that
different
loader
patch for
before?
the winter.
No,
We already put a transmission.
is there enough road salt?
Not that I'm.
That has
salt, I
not
think
been ordered yet.
I've
but as
heard
of
that.
Today, it was ordered.
I thought you had plenty of that.
So my question is, why isn't there any patch?
Yep,
Do we have plug mail for the winter?
nope,
No, we're not a patch.
we don't have any.
Why isn't there any patch? That's my question.
Don't have anything. That's all gone up.
It's all gone.
Where'd it go?
Be transparent. Where'd it go?
I know where it went.
Yeah,
From what I'm told, Jeremiah Patrick, who works for Hill Excavating, asked Dan for 8 dippers of, 8 truckloads of patch. Dan did not question what he was taking it for and just let him have it. Until a month later, I got wind of it and I called Dan and I said, did this happen? And he said, yes.
So it
did."
happened to more than just him.
Yeah. There's another one.
has there been any type of where these? It can be paid back that
So if-
Patrick has taken, that you
As
can
of
hold
that-
him accountable to pay us back for this?
As of that day that I questioned Dan, Dan's office staff sent Jeremiah Patrick and his voice on my command.
Considering them to be a.
And Jeremiah Patrick came in the next day and paid it. But that is what, so Justin filed that with state board of accounts, because we're
Yep.
not allowed to sell to private. entities.
Right.
No scale out
We're
there.
not-
needs scale.
Look at
No scale.
And isn't it, we're gonna have to pay more for the plug we buy than what he sold it for?
That is
Is
correct.
that true?
Yeah.
Correct. So we'll be paying about $25 more a ton than what we bought it, or what we made it.
But it
for.
won't be plug, it'll be cold
It'll be
patch.
cold, yeah. it'll be
Yeah.
Cold patch.
So back to the salt, I thought I was told that we had plenty of salt to get us through. That's not true.
Don actually saw how much salt we had left. and-
Very little.
I've heard we have enough salt for one bad snow.
Now, the end of
the
year though, last year.
One cent,
You have money for salt?
unless it's a light.
No money for anything.
And then if it was bought previously through the state of Indiana partnership program, it
You know
would
what's
have been
ironic
cheaper.
is we were.
Yeah,
told
right,
that
another
we
project.
went
Would've been
salt
piled in
than
red.
what we thought we would use because of the weather. So I mean, so how do we, you know what I mean? Like, we had a surplus of salt last year
Right.
because the weather's been so mild.
I'm
Well,
just
without
thankful
proper
they did
training,
bids with the state.
It's easy to get millions of dollars in the hole with this.
Because otherwise we could pay twice the amount. They didn't bid with the state.
Oh, you didn't, you didn't say.
So I'm just glad that we did that.
I think Kate's gonna save us.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, we appreciate this.
I know, because that's not what we do, but I tell you, it's just that all of us are just enraged by this.
Yeah.
Well, if we would have known about it collectively as a board,
This would
this would have never been spent.
Right. Well, I think my point is, and I think it was Todd that mentioned, like, you know, again, I think the key is gonna be how do we keep it from happening again?
Well,
Because it sounds like this is our first.
well, we
report to the state.
put into play last meeting.
The 10,000.
10,000.
But what keeps, again, he knew he wasn't supposed to spend money he didn't have,
A
so,
good superintendent
Yeah,
well,
keeps that from
yeah.
happening.
Well, honestly, I think also commissioners that over things should be checking in.
checking in,
And different people should be checking on some of that stuff as it comes through.
right.
I mean,
I mean, we were talking about it on the way here, you know, and I thought that the original 240 or whatever it was a shocking number. I was like, how do you get 240? I mean, I can understand being 20-30,000 over, but I mean, a mistake might be made, which is one thing that would cause that.
you're not
But
kidding.
240, but now we're all the way up to.
Yeah.
Overall, we're up to almost
That's not a
700,000.
mistake, that's just.
700,000.
And,
That's just acting like.
what I would,
I'm sorry. In December, it wouldn't be payable till.
Yeah, I ordered it today, so it should be here in a couple weeks, so it won't be paid. till
It won't be
January.
payable
Yeah, I
till
worked on it.
24.
So
Yeah.
that's why I'm so mad, because
well,
when I was
yeah.
out there, we had the junkiest crap there was, and we still managed to
Well,
do everything that was possible.
But I'm gonna say one thing, we got a Rachel to match
know.
who we had out there.
When I started, we were making floor panels out of stop signs. I helped make some of those.
what I would like to see, Rachel, and again, this isn't a picking on you or Donnie. I mean, I know you're here to solve this mess. But some of this stuff is curious to me. We're getting, okay. John Deere Financial, what did you go finance something through John Deere? What's that for? Get as small as $29.99 to Mark Bailey's. What's that for? Smith Farm Store.
So,
What's that for?
I
want to make sure it was spent on county things.
So I did go through these and I do have them, if anybody wants to see them. Everything you see here, this is the invoice.
Are you
for it.
confident?
Yes.
So you're confident that it was spent on county
I
things?
looked through those today, and there's a lot.
Is there some things that could be?
What about the
They
beaver
all
traffic?
look legit.
What about the
to be
beaver
perfectly
traffic?
honest, But
If
there's
it's,
a lot.
if it's in a
I mean,
petition
that's
ditch, that's
sad.
a surveyor's job.
Well, this is a lot.
So there's one thing right there, the beaver traffic. If it's in a petition ditch, that isn't the surveyor's problem.
Right, yeah.
I know.
You want me to make a motion?
You can make any motion you want. I'm not voting for it.
Make a motion to take $427,493.06 out of ARPA funds, the loss of revenue for the highway department.
I'll second that motion. Is there any further discussion?
I do want to make a comment. I'm going to vote in favor of paying these. To maintain our credit with these good people that service Starke County. But I reluctantly. I would like to see an investigation. Of how it was done, why it was done. I just don't want this to quit tonight and say, well, we bailed them out of $427,000 and $493.00. I want to see this further investigate. I know Tony does.
I agree.
I want to see it further. Right, the State Board of Accounts, get their suggestion.
Well,
And I don't want it to stop here like it did the 250,000.
more or less.
It's gonna go higher, we all know, we just listen to each other's.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is,
So-
gotta come to an end.
I've made my comment.
So I will also say that I will support this. I should stand with Todd just for the principle of it. But you'll be in charge of anything that's spent. Is that correct? Nobody out there, no mechanics, none of them will be able to buy anything without your approval.
That's correct.
And Bruce, I do want to bring, because I'll tell you, when I came to Rachel today, I probably seemed like in a bad mood for a couple people earlier. I'll probably have to apologize to them earlier in the meeting, but it started today going through all this and my mood's been pretty foul. But I did tell Rachel that we don't have to approve this, though, we don't. But I mean, in a way we do to
I
keep,
think we
keep
do.
it faith. Now, I have some other issues though, like I've been keeping my eyes out there too, like. I noticed we farm out a lot of the mechanics. We paid 3 mechanics, but we farmed stuff out.
Do you want to answer on that tonight?
We already got one. You're gonna stop that.
So, yeah, so I was just gonna
so
say, so I asked Rachel about that too. So there's a lot of procedural things that were just being allowed that she's not gonna allow. That are gonna change.
Yes.
We had a pretty solid program when Todd and Judy and
Well,
all of us. were
Why
on
pay
it.
3 mechanics with benefits if they're not gonna work?
Yeah, we did
That's
everything.
right. That's
I
exactly. it.
had a talk with all 3 mechanics in my office
Sorry.
and last week. And I asked them about the farming out because, and I told them, why are we paying 3 mechanics if we're farming everything out? They said that they never wanted to farm anything out. That was the previous
Dan's
superintendent.
We had engines sitting there, we had transmissions sitting there, and all they had to do was be installers.
Yep.
And I just think that with a very close eye, and of course Donnie's been involved with the concrete. A close eye on what they're doing back there with those bigger pieces of equipment, I think we could save a lot of money.
Yeah, maintenance. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we can do ourselves.
Okay.
We've been farming out.
All right.
Well, that, and I-
We have a motion and a
You're
second.
still discussing, right?
We have a motion and a second, so we're still in discussion.
Okay. I agree with everybody. We have to pay these because we cannot put the county's credit. I would say our integrity, but that's obviously already gone. So I feel we have to pay them, but I'm with Tony and Bruce. This can't stop. This can't stop with us
It's gotta
just
be-
paying
we
it.
gotta
Right.
have
This
answers.
this cannot. I don't care if Channel 16 News 22 on Channel 9, I don't care. I don't care. This can't stop. This is utterly, this is such a malice to this county
Well, and
and us.
after I did a little research, the guy didn't even have the credentials for this job.
If this was an elected official that abused their budget this way, a lot different action would probably be
I
taken.
do have to speak on behalf of the commissioners a little bit on this, like. We were having trouble getting applicants too.
No, and I'm not blaming them. by
No,
any
no.
means.
Yeah.
And I understand that. I understand.
Well, Donnie wasn't there.
I mean, I understand the reason you can't, get a highway superintendent.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that fully.
But I bet if I asked Don Binkley right now, stuff that's going on at the jail, things that's happening in budgets and problems, he'd be able to sit there and answer the question.
Charlie should have been there.
Well, I'm gonna work great.
I know
We'll
you.
get it good.
Well, I think.
Yeah,
all of us will.
I told her I'd help her any way I can too.
And I wanna thank her for taking
Yeah.
this.
Yeah,
And, you know, Todd, of course, was in that position and some of us have had experience in the day-to-day. So don't be afraid to call on us.
yeah, well, she's not afraid to call me, I know.
Yeah, and I'll, it's kind of secondhand, but Kay was asking what did Charlie have to say?
I don't mind this.
I'm a little afraid of you, but.
Sorry.
Let him answer first.
We're all afraid of.
No, we don't. I respect that, Don. I respect that.
Is that fair, okay?
Yep.
I said, I don't wanna go into that. I'd rather you ask him.
Yep, that's fair,
I respect that.
absolutely.
Well, I thank you for working with Rachel.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, I appreciate it, Don.
All right, I'm done talking. Said my.
And let me just say, I mean, since Jan has left and I kind of took over out there, Charlie has been really good. As far as me calling them and letting them know, and I work, yeah, I've been working with all three commissioners closely,
Are you confident our foreman can do handle the day-to-day?
yes.
What do I even know?
It's,
Oh,
so is there any more discussion? Can we move on?
I've said my piece. Think it pretty much know which way I stand.
Table. Just kidding. Have a motion and a second. All those in favor, aye.
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 I'm just gonna abstain.
One-
I just,
One abstention.
I can't vote yay, but I can't vote no because it has to be paid.
Okay, so the next bad news is. So. I've had 3 transfers in front of you, so I have worked diligently on the budget out there and all the negatives that in this account, I have found money of where to move around to and take care of it. So yeah, I'm asking for transfers too.
For the overtime and the mechanics, right?
I mean, the fact that we need extra money to pay mechanics and we haven't been doing.
Me, life is bizarre.
I'm sorry.
Sarcastic, but
It upsets me. I almost said it. It almost, but it upsets me that, you know.
So are these transfers?
Yeah.
yes.
Can it be done all in one shot or?
Rachel, does that any money to start functioning?
Uh-huh.
Does that leave you any money functioning?
Oh, no, we're done for the rest of the year,
Okay.
except for payroll.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And that's just like July, the way it looks to me.
Yeah.
So,
We've been done for.
We-
the
So
year.
salt will be bought.
we got an expense we need to ask for now.
Yeah, no, I.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make
so
it work.
you got money in there for patch if you have to have it?
She got no patch. She got.
No, I know, but I mean, you have money if you have to
So
have it.
we're gonna start hauling from Central
Okay.
Paving on Monday,
Okay.
and we won't, that bill will be due in
Yeah,
January,
okay.
so I'll pay that.
There's no
Next year.
sense in having a full employment out there if we don't have stuff for them to do when the time comes.
So right now, we're one driver down, and I don't plan on replacing them at this time. I have one driver on workman's comp. I'm not sure if that driver's coming back or not, and whether or not, I may not replace that driver either.
Well, I could build a case for part-time. I mean, just really-
Does somebody want to make a motion for those transfers?
I will move.
You gotta read them all.
I know, that was I was hoping you'd speak up. I move that we transfer from health insurance 3,000. Health 3,000, insurance 4,000, miscellaneous supply 2,500, fuel pump 2,300, tires and tubes 3,900. Greater blades 1,000, health insurance 1,400, unemployment 500, workman's comp 500, drug testing 400, and 1,500 uniforms to overtime 3,000, social security 4,000, and gas, oil, and lube 4,000. 14,000. Thank you. Okay, and then I believe on this one here, the office supply of 6427.35, miscellaneous bridge 28,572.65.
Well, that's additional.
Oh, that's.
That's additional.
Oh, that's.
Yeah, you don't have to say that, that one's already
Yeah,
done.
there's another one. There's another
So I
one.
need this one. There's only two.
Yeah.
Okay, and then from stone and gravel, 6,000 uniforms, 3,000 service contracts. 4,000 bituminous, 8,000. Over the two overtime, 6,000 and mechanics, 15,000. And whenever I see something coming out of stone and gravel and bituminous, makes me sick, but. Gotta do what you gotta do.
Have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Howard beat you, Tony.
It don't matter.
Second from Howard. You have an eye, Tony?
What's that?
All those in favor, aye?
I'll vote for that.
Is there any opposed?
So just so you know too, and so the commissioners know, like. You can run something into the ground a lot faster than you can fix it, so we're talking about. You know, probably a couple of years before this department is back on its feet.
That's quite reasonable.
I got something for you. So in 2013, we established a car policy for take-home cars here.
Yes.
The last many years, each year I brought it up that people that have a take-home car need to report their mileage.
And I passed.
We have a policy in place. Everybody needs to notice that's a non-emergency vehicle that has it. If they don't let us know what was work and what was personal, we are going to bill them this year for personal use of vehicles. We have a policy in place. We need to follow that. We're not in compliance because we haven't been following it. So we need to send a notice out to everybody. We have that in place,
When I
and
would,
it says in our policy that if you do not report mileage, that we will assume that it's all personal mileage.
because when I worked for them, done it, the same thing, and they actually would tax us. Take it out of our state taxes on that personal mileage.
We need to follow
The
that.
personal mileage was only from home to work.
Well, one of the things I learned in all this with the highway department is there's a lot of take-home trucks, like we have a lot of,
All of them.
we have a lot of take-home vehicles in the county that are non-emergency responders.
Have assurance that
The only ones that need to have a vehicle at home when they want to do it, when they're allowed to do it, like emergency response. The rest of them, they don't have to have it to go home.
It's gonna
That's
take.
not the county's responsibility.
Take years.
I want that personal drive.
The
The other thing is, Tony and I were gonna make chili, but we have our employee appreciation. Dinner, lunch coming up. I'm gonna volunteer to do it, but I'm gonna get some gift certificates on behalf of the council. And I'll work with Rachel on that. Instead of the money I was gonna spend on the food. I'll spend my last paycheck on it.
You could. I noticed the matron had bought a bag of dog food.
Yeah,
Now, you're not gonna put that in the chili, are you?
you know what, the high protein one maybe.
If you do, get the keto friendly.
So what is it you're doing? You're buying what now?
Instead of us doing the chili, I'm just gonna buy some gift cards for like to give away at the, or something. To give away at this employee appreciation thing, so.
And so
Just, we mentioned last time we were gonna make chili, but it was cooling off, but.
Yeah, and everything's.
But we're right up on that, it's getting up now, so let's see, they'd probably rather have something cash and.
Like, we had an employee appreciation.
Make them a small turkey.
Did you guys have anything else?
Oh.
Sir?
No, it's actually like.
Yeah, just a reminder. A lot of our, I would just encourage people to reach out to me if you have any questions about bidding, like our department heads. We've gotten kind of cute sometimes with bidding requirements are very, they're there for a reason. And I've noticed here lately, we're trying to get a little bit cute with the way that we price public works projects in order to avoid bidding requirements. They're there for a reason, so I would just encourage people to do that. I'm not worried anymore about the highway department because that was always, there's always like a workaround there to try to get around bidding requirements. And I don't know why we don't want to bid things. I mean, I'm not a shot caller, but I'd rather bid almost anything out just so you get the best price. And
Or at least quotes, I mean, that's first level or even.
I mean,
quotes.
Rachel texts me 5 times a day, someone's called me 3 times a day, so no, I'm not worried about that, the highway department now, but with our department heads, with, you know, some of our elected officials, I haven't ran across any that have not done this, but if you have questions on bidding requirements, reach out to me and ask. I would like our department heads to do that because it's very easy. I've got a memorandum, you know, I put together a few years ago. I just email and say, here's your bidding requirements. It's very readable. I would just encourage, you know, because when I hear that central paving was paid $234,000 for something the mayor that was bid out to begin with. Well, the original amount was bid out, but then the overage, you know, I don't know if that was a work order that.
It's not an
matching.
overage, it's not an overage, it's just he already overexpended that particular line.
Well, we just start getting into issues. And
It's
we
still a good point. It
Yeah,
reminds me of something too.
absolutely.
Are we settled on the internet? Or the purple guys deal?
We are up to date on our bill. I've scrounged,
For this year, so
For
we
this year.
can work on next year.
yes,
And
like
how
through
many,
December,
how
I don't
many,
have December.
Do we still bid? for
okay, so
like
we got time
fuel
for that.
Yeah,
And then how many
When
months
do
do
we
we
have
have left for next year?
First meeting in January, right?
Six, okay,
She's
good.
actually talking to.
We'll never do this.
Yeah.
That's right.
Good. I just wanted to throw that out there. If any department has any questions about public bidding, it takes me 30 seconds to attach the memo and send it or answer a phone call. So
You know, along that line, Justin, it's really kind of shocked me in a sense. I'm working with Elkhart County. Okay, we're doing very large project. But part of this project, we're doing some work at some homeowners' house, which is part of the whole project. And there's 3 bids on everything.
Yeah.
If I can't get 3 bids to do it, you just keep searching till you find 3 bids. And we're talking, the maximum is $2,500. Most of them are $600.
oh yeah,
And there's 3 bids.
Wow.
it's stark benefits too, just from a cost saving standpoint. We might be amazed just how much money we might
Keep
save on
everybody
some of
honest.
these. Yeah.
Yeah, I was really shocked.
I just would encourage our department heads to use that. I know sometimes it's a pain, but it'd be a lot more of a pain to find out we've not bid something out that needs to be bid out, so.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and like you said, at least you're investigating it because there are ways that if you can take an alternate bid sometimes if it's like a quality vendor or, you know, like, but at least you checked, you know.
Well, a common misconception is you don't have to receipt in 3 bids. Some thresholds just require you to reach out to 3 contracts. You may get 1 bid, but you know, you've at least made contact with 3 separate bidders in some cases, so.
Well, they must have a county rule then, because any public works project, which this is termed as, has to have 3 bids, whether it's for
We
$2.
could set a county ordinance like that.
That might correct a lot of issues. I don't know if it's, you know. If
Can you
want to
put that on your
set
next
thresholds, but-
agenda? Really, that might just help us all, you know, that way, because that way, if we have a vendor that does something tricky. We can come back and say, oh, no, we have an ordinance,
Mhm.
because they tried to call me on that. When I called them on that we were following the state. They tried to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They, show your county ordinance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a good.
Good idea, make it mandatory.
I mentioned this again, this is just our appointments for us to look at, for next year. Anything else?
No.
Anything from the council? Don?
I do, if they don't. I'll just bring all this up. You guys heard it all tonight, ain't it? This is something we're needing it pretty bad. The corner needs a new freezer. Now, I knew when I suggest we go on to the building, that is the freezer. Right now, they're using the trailer. It's not a good idea.
I listened to that meeting. Is that what happened? There's an actual freezer and it went down, so they
Well,
have a
we got
trailer?
one, but it only holds 2 bodies.
We have a semi trailer, a
Okay.
reefer. Now, that was what we were told to get back then though, because I was the one that helped get the permit through this, because the city made us get a
Okay,
permit
yeah,
for
so I
that
didn't
trailer
involved
too.
in any of that.
But
There's a prime example of bidding. Just gave it to somebody and it didn't work, right?
Right, well, it did for a couple of days.
Yeah, then we're out.
we had a
on that
maintenance contract with them and then they charged us a bill on it.
Yeah, like $2,500 or something.
On what?
Well, today was 1,000.
On what, Donnie?
Fixing the reefer.
Are they using that now?
Yeah, but that's what I say to me, I mean, Howard might
But
help me on this, that's not a good idea.
they're not,
Can we get a quote on that though?
That's
The
what-
reason why we did that, it was pretty
the
expensive.
cooler that's in the morgue, they're not using that?
Yes, but it only holds 2 bodies.
Right,
Last week they had 4 or 6.
okay.
So we had to have the reefer going, the reefer, and I don't know if you guys know much about reefer, but once they quit, you have trouble getting them to stay.
Yeah,
Someone got to check.
But Tony Mildice has a service contract with somebody that did it, right? Like, I mean, it
I
wasn't.
think at that time, but I think the service contract run out, but I'm not.
Oh, okay, because I mean, I think you can actually rescind that, like if they did it and we didn't authorize it and the contract was wrong, I don't know that we have to pay that necessarily. We can negotiate it probably, right?
In the grand.
If we had a service contract, but it ran out, but then they came
The
and
grand scheme of things, they might.
refrigerated
look
and
at
fixed it,
building on
and it
putting
doesn't
in
work now.
That's what I'm saying.
Florida's still billing us
Six-person
for it.
cooler because,
Yeah, took right to the building, the
Yes.
alarms out there.
yes, and security reasons.
Right.
Should we look too, Don, at the timing of that to make sure that we're still in contract with them and they didn't just, if they did it on their own, I don't see why.
I believe Tony did call
Oh, okay.
But
I thought they said this morning they did it on their own.
I don't think so. I think they were like wanting bids, and I tried to explain to them, you can't, on something like that, you can't take bids. You gotta get it fixed.
So you're not thinking we
Yeah.
can just get a new reefer unit put on that?
I know, I know,
We
you
just
just,
want a two-person.
I think you could add on to the corner office cheaper than you can a reef.
We priced that, putting like a walk-in cooler on it, was like 40 grand
Really,
when we built that building, yeah. That's why we went with the reefer.
right?
You look at lease to own as well. It's one more way that lease to own.
The reaper don't sound like a good idea to me.
I
That's
think,
what I'm saying, it's just,
You know, even though it is at the sheriff's office, but still, it still doesn't sound like a very good idea,
right.
right?
You know, I mean, I'm not saying we're gonna go with it right now, but I just want you guys to know, I think we need to bid it out.
Very, very efficient.
And then the salt shed, ready to fall down, well, not ready to fall down, but the roof shop. I've been taking bids on that, but I haven't.
Does that have shingles on it?
Pardon me?
It's shingle, right? Yeah.
I think Louis did go out there and fix the hole.
Yes, he did.
Because I was out there too.
I got about 7 squares
Right,
of
is that right, Rachel?
architectural.
Right. It's the
My
it's the
roof
whole
guy-
roof though, it's not.
Yeah, I'm
just
kidding, yeah.
That's probably 20 years.
Annex 2, I think we need to work on it. You don't remember where I call it the playhouse, where the prisoners used to go down?
Yeah.
I think we need to roof that and give that to Sean for a meeting room. Take the meeting room and give that to Frank.
That's where we look
There,
at
we're
it.
gonna
Make
give
more
it-
space for the health department.
Yes.
That's-
Good.
that's-
Did you ever get a quote on that? Yeah.
No, I, wait, on you guys.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
got,
let's-
it's got
let's get a
four,
quote
it's got
on that.
4 walls already.
Right.
We went
Yeah.
over there.
I
Yeah,
was thinking use that for Frank at first, but then we gotta put bathrooms. So if we give that to Sean and keep this in for Frank.
just for a meeting room, yeah.
And then
Because they've
rebuild.
got bathrooms in the current meeting
Right.
room. Yeah.
And then, cause he's probably gonna have a food inspector, we don't have no room for that. That, and,
I wonder if we could use health first money on that too.
yes, we can, I already talked to him. Just this year is 25, next year we get 50.
You
So I
can
mean,
use
it will help.
10%.
But next year that'd be quite a bit,
It'll
with the
be
whole payout.
20,000.
Next year be 50, right, Ray?
50.
Next
Yeah.
year will be 20,000, cause it's 10% of what we're getting, and we're getting 254. The year
Don't
after
that-
that, it'll be up to almost 600,000, so it'll be, yeah, we'll get more.
And then, I forget how many years we can, even though we build it, we can go back and take the money back.
Yes,
What they
Yep.
told me.
they don't take the money away, so yeah, if you wanna save the 10% for a couple years and then pay it with that, you can do that.
And I did talk to Todd, we have to get an architect for that, though, because it's structural rafters and, I mean, we
Because
can't.
you have to have 2 walls that'll be load bearing
Right,
if you're gonna put trusses on
and that's
it.
gonna be costly on that, but I think it's something we need to do. I just wanted to throw all that out there, so you guys knew what we was gonna be asking for. And I do wanna get a pickup for the park board, don't have to be a new one. Just
Well, can we look at one of those at the highway garage? I mean, there's so many extra pickups out there.
yeah, well, I've been,
No,
me and
it's in our
Rachel been
junk.
talking,
or
I'm
no?
gonna go out there and look at that also. And I might be getting one from Jack, but it won't be a pickup, so. But I am watching, so we don't have to buy one.
Is that one, the park, I assume it's got a whole bunch of miles on it.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's over 200, it looks like that.
And it does
That
look,
makes
it
us
does,
look like that.
it does look like heck, wouldn't it?
The skill
Yeah.
center out there has got 2 Humvees that were given to them. And one of them only has 100 miles on them. But they're not, they have never been titled. I don't know if that could be something that we could look at as a municipal. I don't know what you'd use them for, but there's 2 brand new Hummers out there that
Pickups are SUVs,
skill center.
but I mean, do they have a pickup bed on them? The problem with the park board is they have to put the garbage cans in the back.
Yeah, and I
If it's
don't
a
know what
pickup
they
style,
are,
it might
Dave,
be-
but it's certainly something we could look into if you want me to.
You can title them after, I think, a year.
There's no VIN numbers, no anything, but I think,
She won't build.
well, because they were supposed to be used For training people for repairs, but there's surely a way to get around that with the municipality.
And one, are you done, Don? I don't want to.
Yeah, and again, I just want to thank Rachel for stepping up and taking the intern.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Very good, very good, very good. Hey, one real quick thing too.
This guy.
I want to just point this out since we've just seen all this happen right here in front of us. I did think it was nice if the sheriff come in, asking about the commissary.
Absolutely.
You just mentioned he was trying to get bids. You know, like I know they had the roof out there.
Yep.
They, you know, they said, well, we don't have time or whatever, but he is trying to do that kind of stuff. And
Right.
bids like you were just talking.
That's
He is
very
trying to
credible.
get bids on everything.
And he even
Because he's
called
trying to be
me,
very transparent.
he even
Yeah.
called me on that phone. Said we should stop and get bids. I said we get it fixed.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, he did stay involved.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, all that stuff, he is trying very hard. I mean, you don't see him much in here by talking.
You know, actually, he's looked like he's getting around a lot better too.
I think
you
if
know,
you look,
looks a lot
And
healthier.
he
Yeah.
said, if you didn't look at him,
Wants to
he's
wrestle?
gonna get you an arm.
I'm scared of him now.
You should be. But that's, I just wanted, you know, because of that, I wanted to point out that good. That
Yeah, that was
he's
good.
trying to do some stuff.
Do you think maybe you could put some numbers by that, this so December, like planning for next year, we just got some idea, like, I don't know, 10,000 for pickup, or you know, like
Right.
50,000 for that roof, I don't know, but at least.
I am actually taking bids on the roof right now.
Okay, good.
I probably do it like Justin said, get the paper and do all that legal, whatever.
Doesn't sound like we have a lot of salt to cover up right now. but-
Exactly. But what we do, we
But it's
We'll
coming.
make it sound.
It's ordered.
we don't want it to be one big lump.
Right.
Yeah.
And Charlie acted like he might want to even put a new shed up, so I'm not sure, but I'm.
That shed's not that, it wasn't there when I was
I'm
there.
gonna keep taking bids.
It'd be nice kind of just get a kind of a capital plan from you guys for 2024.
Jen and I.
If you can by next month, our meeting, if not.
You were.
I won't give
super.
numbers out. I mean, I won't be able to
Run
give
out
numbers,
through
but
our
I'll
field.
start.
It roughs it out in
Yeah.
the items that you just named, and if there's anything else, that way it kind of gives us an idea, you know, what you might be asking for next
That
year.
was a nice.
Main thing on Annex 2, I can't really even start on until you guys give me the okay on the architect, and that's probably gonna be expensive. Remember what me and you talked on the court,
Probably gonna be the worst of it.
Yeah.
right? But I think we got to be in the roof. I don't wanna just have somebody go in there and not
Too bad we didn't buy the Moose property. We could have just
Right.
built a new,
build a new building,
building there.
Either an architect or even maybe a structural engineer.
right?
I mean, whichever one you can get.
But even to get them come look at it's gonna cost me. That's what I'm saying. It's up to you guys, let me know
What
what
about,
to do.
do you know Brett Martin?
Who?
Brett Martin?
I don't think so.
He's from Plymouth. He's from Hamlin originally.
Okay.
He has an architectural firm. I mean, he's a real small guy. His dad was Hobie. His dad was
I was
Hobie.
gonna
Martin.
ask, that was Hobie.
Yeah. So I know he's an architect. I know he did like the Methodist Church in Hamlin and burnt down. I know he's done a lot of other things.
Do you see him much?
No, I don't. I haven't seen
What
him
was
in
his
years.
last name?
Martin.
Mark.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a thought, like somebody local.
Right.
It's a one,
I always
You know,
try local.
it's a
first.
small company, you know, not 90 employees, you know.
Yeah, I'll get some calls out there.
We should have bought that
He's still,
B&H building.
if you didn't retire, I mean,
That health department.
pardon me,
We should have bought that B&H building when we made that health department.
should have got it for free,
It's cheap,
Yeah, they sold it. You-
68,000.
a little bit less than they
75
paid
euro.
for it. Right?
Yeah.
That's about what they paid for it.
Right.
60,000? Yeah, for the windows.
Don, did you have anything else?
No, I'm good. I'm
Did
done.
you guys have anything else, Darren, or?
After the night.
No.
Yeah.
Chocolate.
My mouth shut.
I was gonna ask her a question later about
Black
the
roses.
bids. I wanted the exact amount of each Keener construction bid in Montgomery. bid,
Ah,
but
yeah.
I'll get that for
Can
sure.
I send them to you? Can I scan them and send them to you?
Yeah, it's fine.
Sandy,
Rachel, would you get a couple papers?
Anything?
So I make
I
copies.
will say one thing though, in my years as an electrician, I've done a lot of work for a lot of
County.
municipal entities. I've never seen one that didn't have a 3 bid requirement.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
never.
just standard, yeah.
We only.
Sounds like good business to me. I
Right,
mean, really.
I mean, mind you, it was like.
Everything I ever did for myself, I always got five.
I will say almost everything in the, over the years in Stark County, we've always had three. it's hard sometimes.
It slips.
Rachel,
It's just-
there's a sometimes I have to put it in black or white, people get late.
Well,
Well, and building out here, I can tell you, it's hard to get bids sometimes out here.
well, at least you tried, like Justin. you tried.
You want that?
Madam Clerk, did you have anything else? No. Dave?
Okay.
You guys make good use of that $175,000?
Yes, don't pay. You're gaining interest.
Do you want to make a motion?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.